Yo people, so I've had quite a lot of questions about how do you get started in the gym, what do you do if you're a beginner, you want to start lifting, what are you going to expect, what are the main things you should focus on. So today, just going to be talking through all of those questions right now. I've even asked a few of my friends to give me questions specifically that they have about beginning at the gym so I can answer them and be as accurate as possible for all you beginners. So let's get straight into it. So first off, I just want to say I was a beginner once. I made all the mistakes that you are probably making. I needed to watch videos. I needed to get advice from other people as well. So don't feel bad about that. It is normal. You want to make sure you're doing the best that you can to get the gains as quick as possible. So let's get on with that. Question number one that I'm going to tell you. Okay, so I think the number one thing you need to think of is why are you going to the gym? Like, what are your goals? Do you want to be a bodybuilder, a powerlifter, just lose some fat, just get fitter, just get visible abs? Like, you need to make sure you have that in your mindset. Today, I'm going to be mainly focusing on people that want to gain muscle, not necessarily a bodybuilder, but putting on muscle. So once you got your goal, I guess you want to know next, when will you see gains? And it is really different for everyone, but if you're doing everything right, you can literally see gains within the first month. People that have bought my training plan have sent me progress pictures within like the lockdown, which was 4 months. And even after like a couple of weeks of training, they're like, yeah, I can see difference. They've shown me pictures. They've definitely put on some muscle. So it does depend on your genetics, but you can definitely make improvements if you're on the right training plan. Okay, so now speaking of training plans, training is literally the most important thing to do with lifting, putting on muscle. So if you're not training correctly, even if you got your diet in check and you're going gym every day, if you're not training right, you're just not going to put on muscle. So you need to make sure you're training properly. I've got a load of videos about how to train properly. I've even got a training program where I tell you exactly what exercises, sets and reps to do, as well as a training split. So you can't go wrong with that. It is only £8 to £10 depending whether it's on sale, but you should definitely look into that if you do not know how to train yet, because it really did help me when I realized how much of a big difference it makes when you train properly and you don't train properly. But yeah, training is definitely the single most important thing in my eyes to putting on muscle. The best way to train properly is with progressive overload. This is when over time you either increase the weight or increase the amount of reps that you do. This ensures muscle growth. It is the key component to muscle hypertrophy, which is building muscle. So you need to make sure you're progressive overloading over time, making sure you add weight to the bar or increase the amount of reps that you do. Okay, so this is the next one, diet. Like, a lot of people think diet is the key. Like, if you're not got a good diet, you're not going to gain muscle. And it's true to some extent, but when I first started lifting, I did not have a good diet. I was eating kebabs, KFC, sweets, chocolate, all of that, not making sure I got enough protein, just eating how I wanted to, really, eating like any normal teenager. And I still put on quite a lot of muscle. I'll flash up some pictures now of how much I put on. And I never ever focused on my diet like that. And that might just be because of my genetics, but in my eyes, it isn't that important. But if you're overweight currently, obviously it is a bit more important that you do clean up your diet. But if you're skinny, sometimes just eating whatever you can isn't the worst thing, because at least you're putting on the mass. But then once you start getting a bit more advanced, it is important to start like eating a bit better, maybe focusing on more high protein foods if you can. But it isn't detrimental, I don't think. And I've done a full day of eating where you can go watch exactly what I eat, and I go for a load of like good snacks and stuff that you can eat if you want to gain weight. So make sure you go check that out. So the next one is, do you need to do cardio? And this again is subjective because it's up to you. Like, you can do cardio. If you're overweight, I highly recommend you doing cardio. Like, over fat, you do want to lose some of that fat as quick as possible. So do cardio, do your cycling machine, do your treadmill. Just get a bit of cardio in, maybe 3 times, 4 times a week, depending on how fast. Obviously you want to lose it fast, but depending on how much you can fit into the week with all the other things you've got to do. Cardio is definitely a must, just for your heart, because your heart's a muscle too. You got to train it. But if you're skinny, cardio should not be your main focus, because if you're doing cardio too intensely, you could be stripping off that muscle, which is not what you want at all. So if you are skinny, try and avoid cardio with high intensity. Do it a bit, but focus on the muscle building. Okay, so the next one is under and overtraining. So if you don't know what this is, undertraining is quite obviously when you do not train enough to put on muscle, and overtraining is when you train too much that your muscles do not have the time to recover, so you don't make gains. Both of them are really not good. You don't want to be doing either of them. how to know whether you're overtraining is, are your muscles recovered? Do you still feel them aching when you go to train them again? If the answer is no, perfect. If the answer is yes, you could be overtraining. And the other way, if you're undertraining, do you feel your muscles aching at all after the workout? If no, you're probably undertraining. If you do, you're probably just about right. So you just need to make those judgments for yourself. Obviously, you can message me, ask me, and I'll try and help you the best. But that's something that you really have to just think about internally, because obviously only you can feel your muscles aching. I also just want to say it's so important that you train every single muscle. Even if you don't want to train legs or back, you need to make sure you train every muscle. Every beginner falls into the trap of just training arms, just training chest, but you need to make sure you're training every single muscle to build up your upper physique in the best way possible. Never avoid leg day, because you will look stupid with a big upper and no legs. So that's pretty much it to start off with the gym. That is all you really need. Like, you just need to go and do it. A lot of people stall so much, like, oh, I'll start next week, I'll start after my exams, I'll start blah blah blah, I can't get a membership. But that's just, you're never gonna get there. You need to just go. Like, even if you got an hour out of your day, just go, just get started. Once you're there, hopefully you'll enjoy it, hopefully you'll want to keep going. Once you see results, you'll want to keep going. That's what it's like for me. When I stop seeing results, I lose a lot of motivation, but when I see results, I'm like, yeah, calm. That's another thing. Motivation is definitely a high player in this fitness game. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, if you don't have the motivation and the goal, you're just not going to work as hard for it, because like, the goal is what makes you want to keep going. Like, for me, when we're in lockdown, for example, I feel like I'm starting to get skinny, and it makes me want to go gym so bad. So when it opens, I just hit, because I remember like what it was like to be skinny, and I just never want to be skinny again. So it makes me want to just keep going. That's the type of motivation internally that you need to keep going. It's not always external motivation. Like, you need that intrinsic motivation, because like, yeah, your boy can stand there and say, yeah, come on, but if you've not got it like in yourself, you're just not gonna you're not gonna lift as much. You're not gonna feel the contraction. You're not gonna want to go. You need to have it intrinsically. You can't have it always extrinsic. Like, come on, motivate yourself, man. It's not always on everyone else. Stop relying on everyone else, man. You gotta take yourself to the gym. You gotta do it yourself. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you are a beginner, make sure you get down to the gym as soon as possible and start hitting. I've got a ton of videos, I've got training programs, I've got loads of sponsors all linked below that can help you with starting to train. I've got equipment sponsors, I've got massage gun sponsors, I've got clothing sponsors, so make sure you go check all of them out, and all my codes are written down in the description. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more tips. Make sure you subscribe to Boxwoodz, because we're going to be putting out a lot of good content on there, just fun videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bless.